The price of diesel in the UK has reached its most expensive level since the end of 2022 as the Iran oil crisis escalates. The RAC said the average price of a litre of the fuel at UK forecourts today was more than £1.80. Business leaders from the worlds of energy, shipping and banking met the Prime Minister in Downing Street this afternoon to discuss the impact of the Iran war on the UK. Our business editor, Simon Jack, reports.
This Israeli refinery is the latest target of tit-for-tat missile strikes, damaging Middle East energy infrastructure. With US threats to seize Iran's giant Haga Island oil depot, another possible escalation in a conflict whose economic impact is being felt around the world. Asia, with its high dependence on Gulf oil deliveries, is hardest hit. Shortages in India, rationing in Sri Lanka, and protests in the Philippines. Here in the UK, very little of our physical oil supply comes from the Gulf. But markets are global and shortages anywhere mean price rises everywhere. And this coach firm has seen its diesel bill rise by £9,000 a week.
It is traumatic, really, because you can't double the price within 6 weeks. As you know, everybody is suffering with it, and we are the one main thing in this business is diesel and, of course, fuel.
Now, both petrol and diesel prices have risen sharply since the conflict began. But, as you can see, diesel has risen twice as fast and is considered more vulnerable to tightening supplies. Now, that is partly because the UK imports most of its diesel from abroad. Just 40% of it is refined here. 22% comes from the Netherlands and Belgium. You get an extra 21% coming across the Atlantic from the US and just 5% coming directly from the Gulf. But these refineries here in Belgium and the Netherlands do get crude from the Gulf, and the tankers delivering there now set sail from the Gulf a month ago before the conflict started. So gaps will start showing up from now, increasing the price pressures. Fuel retailers are urging the government to ditch plans to raise fuel duty in September and follow other countries' lead and cut taxes on fuel now.
We've now seen a couple of countries, notably ERA and Australia, actually cut fuel duty. So that's something I'll be requesting of the Chancellor.
This afternoon, the Prime Minister brought business leaders and military advisers together to discuss the conflict and how best to help households and the economy.
It's not our war, but it is our duty to protect British citizens. Particularly, their concern will be not just the escalation of the war, but this sense that it's going to hit them and their families and their households.
Oil prices are very pervasive. They get into farmers' fuel, feed, fertiliser costs, pushing up food prices. Very little escapes the repercussion of a Middle East energy crisis. Simon Jack, BBC News.
President Trump says that the US is in serious discussions with what he calls a new, more reasonable regime in Iran. But he's also threatened Iran that unless the Strait of Hormuz is opened, the US would obliterate their electric plants, oil wells and Haga Island. The latter is the critical oil facility off Iran's coast, and US officials claim troops are preparing for possible ground operations. Thousands of US Marines are now in the region, with special forces and paratroopers on the way. Our security correspondent Frank Gardner looks at what options are available to America.
Paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne, US Marines offshore. Plans afoot for boots on the ground. US forces are gathering near the Gulf as President Trump attempts to pressure Iran into a deal. Great progress, he said, has been made, but if a deal is not shortly reached and if the Hormuz Strait is not open for business immediately, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran, he says, by blowing up and obliterating all of their electric plants, oil wells and Haga Island. Iran currently controls the vital Strait of Hormuz, but its island of Haga could be in America's sights for an invasion.